I'm really glad to be here and provide you a hands-on demonstration, not only of Windows 10 version 1809, but a demonstration of some of the features that will be in the new release, and as well as some of the ones that's in the current release, and I'll identify those as we go along. A lot of people want to know exactly what version of Windows they're running, and I don't know if how many of you actually know how to find that, but I will go ahead and demonstrate that. We'll start with the Windows Start button here, and then we'll go to the Settings icon, and we'll click on System, and we'll scroll down to the bottom, and we'll click on About. Now, About gives you quite a bit of information. As you can see, it shows your PC is being monitored and protected through Windows security, or if you have a third party, it also will show that it has protection. There'll probably be a note here that says that you're using a third party antivirus, but nevertheless, that information will should have all green checks, and I'll show you why this one has a red one shortly. But so far, in this case, we're all good. The next section will show you your device specifications, information on the PC that you are using, its processor, how much RAM you have, and some other information that pertains to your particular box. You can also have the capability of renaming that PC, which would change this name here. And then directly below that, you'll see Windows specifications. And in my case, I'm running Windows 10 Pro, the Insider Preview, which is the beta version that we have been provided to test and hopefully get some of the kinks out of it. And of course, the version number is 1809. Now, this is significant because the first two digits represents the year, and the second two represents the month that the release was made. So in this case, it's September 2018. Of course, it's going to fall a little bit behind that, but the date that you installed the operating system, and this is the build number. And you can do a number of other things. You can change your product key or upgrade your edition of Windows. There's the EULA agreement and license agreements. So that's how you find out more about the particular version of Windows and other things that you are that you may be interested in. Now, one of the things that we found in 1803 was something that was called the timeline. That has been somewhat enhanced now. If you notice, one thing is that this was once, the task view was what it was called when it was first introduced, and then in 1803 they also changed they added the timeline to that. And what that affords you is that when you click on this icon, you have three sections actually. The very top is the one that was the task view, which allowed you to change the desktops. In other words, you can have multiple desktops you can run, and as you scroll over, you can see that it kind of changes as I go by. But in this case, the very top is the desktops that you're currently using, the one that's highlighted in blue. And here's where I can go to a second desktop, which I have working. I could also click here and add a new desktop, which would give me the third desktop. So you can have multiple desktops running at any given time. Now below that, let me go back up here. Below that, you'll find what is currently running on your machine. So in this case, we have the Zoom meeting controls, and then also there's another background Zoom software program that's running as well. Now, the interesting thing here is what is below that section, and that is the timeline. So here you can see all the different activities that I have done over a period of time, starting with what I have done today to what I've done earlier today, and they're all identified by the title of in this case, it was a PowerPoint effort. Here is a Microsoft Word that I was working on. And then here is a YouTube video. So any of these, or I could be able to go back and bring up without having to go search for them in my file manager. If I wanted to say I wanted to look at this particular my Google Photos, I could click here and it would bring those up immediately. That was a card that I was showing, but it's just a matter of clicking on the particular application that you wanted to see. So it gives you a opportunity to pull these all up. Now, the interesting thing that in 1809, these will be synced with any other PC that you may be using. Like in this case, if you notice, you see 4313 CTO. That's actually my laptop. I was looking at information on Cecily Tyson on my laptop, and you can see that it also shows on my desktop. That's the one I'm using now. I was also looking at some other things here, and they show on my desktop, even though I researched those on my laptop. So the timeline will be really helpful in being able to keep track of things that are activities that you've done. Now, perhaps you're not interested in this. You said, well, I don't want all this information shown on my PC. Well, there's a couple things you can do. One, if you don't want that particular thumbnail to show, you can always click the red X here, and that will delete it from the timeline. Or you could also go to our start menu, and we can change the activity in settings. So here we'll click on settings, and we'll go to system. Hold on, I'm sorry, I got confused here. We'll go here to privacy, and here you will find where it says activity history. And so you want to click this, and then you have two check boxes that you want to uncheck, at least one box. The other one, well, you want to uncheck both of these. And so this will then stop any kind of historical data being fed to your timeline. So again, the process of changing that behavior is that you want to go to System, you want to go to Privacy, and then you want to scroll down to Activity History, click on that, and then uncheck these two boxes. And you can also clear the activity history by clicking Manage My Microsoft Account, and it will also give you some other information about how to view and clear browsing history, as well as clear your search history, your location, and other activities that you've done on your PC. One new change that's coming up, I think a lot of people will really be impressed with, is what is going to be referred to as the Cloud Clipboard. And this is a feature that will be in 1809, and what it actually does, it allows you to copy materials from, as you have done in the past, but the beauty of that is that it allows you to maintain that material that you've copied on your clipboard, that allows you to use it in multiple locations. Not only will it sync with your other computers, but also it's in some point in time it will also sync with your phone. So say for instance, if you have some photos that you've copied and you like to send them to an email, and you will be able to copy them on your PC and also see those same, be able to copy those same photos using your phone. So this is going to be really quite interesting. Right here, if you can see, these are some of the things that I have copied throughout the week. And what that allows me to do, I can select any one of those. Say, for instance, I want to, I'll bring up a Word document here. I'm going to start my new document. And there was some information I had found that I want to write an article on. So I had copied the material and it had saved to my clipboard, and now I am ready to use it. So I can use that, and then I can go back and paste that. And as you can see, I can paste anything, and the thing about it that makes it really nice is that it stays there. So what you have actually is a clipboard that you can use over and over again. And as you see at the top, that one said it was copied from another device. So say, for instance, I want to add some pictures to this. I would go here to my the web, for instance, and let's see, let's find some pictures of interest. And I'm going to copy this, if it allows me to do so. Let's see, let's do this way. So I can copy this picture, and I can also copy some text as well. And now I can go back to my Word document, or it could be email, it doesn't matter. And the shortcut key that I use to invoke the cloud clipboard is the Windows key plus the letter V as in Victor. So now, as you see, I have my picture that I want. I can paste in my article. Maybe I don't want it to be quite that large. And then I want to add some text to that I had copied. Again, I use my Windows key and V, and I can then add the text. So that data that I have copied will stay in the cloud clipboard until I delete it. I also, if I want to continue, I should say that when you turn your machine off, there's a possibility that the data will go away, but you can pin it by clicking here, and then that becomes pinned, and it will stay until you actually go in and delete it. So the new clipboard, or the cloud clipboard, is really going to be something I think everyone will really use and find it really beneficial, particularly if you do a lot of copying and pasting. Now, I really think it's going to be a boom to those individuals that we all take pictures on our and save them to our various devices. Now we can use those across devices, and you won't have to worry about having to go and hunt or recopy anything. It'll always be there for you. The other change that's coming about, and today I think a lot of us forget about using this, but and that is the snipping tool. The snipping tool is going to go through some revisions. This is the current version that you see in 1803. The new one, well, let's do the old one first. What it was is that the snipping tool allowed you to copy and any information. So say, for instance, if I go here to my website, and I want to copy something here. I just want to snip it rather than actually copy it. So what I can do, I can launch my snipping tool and do new. And as you see, you get the crosshairs, and I can just draw around this. And now it is on my board. And under the old way, I could then go and do edit and copy and then paste it into another document. But now with the advent of the our cloud clipboard, we'll see that information will now be there as well. So it eliminates a step in this situation. So there was a number of things you could do with this. You had the opportunity to do a free-form snip, the rectangular, which we just did, or this right here would give us a window, which would just be the outline of the window that you had in view. It also had an ability to delay the snip for up to 5 seconds. So say, for instance, you were preparing a tutorial and you wanted a be able to clip on something. Say, for instance, the setting, the start menu, and you know when you click on some place else, it goes away. Well, what you can do here is that when you do your snipping tool, you would be able to delay that up to 5 seconds, and then you could go ahead and launch that, and then when the time expires, which we'll see in a second. No, I didn't hit new. Let's see. 5 seconds. So I'm going to click on new. Then I'm going to bring up my my start menu, and then when the time expires, yeah, what's going on here? Oh, let me try this again. This is not. Yeah. Well, it's not working exactly the way it should. What should happen is that when I have my delay for 5 seconds, I hit new. It's going to wait, and it allows me to be able to bring up another screen where I can include in the snip, so that when I click on something, this doesn't go away. But for some reason, it's not working quite the way it should. Could be an issue I have. But that's the old snipping tool. Now the one that it's being replaced is called Trice. There's a snip and sketch. So hopefully it works better. It looks a little bit different. But here, it still has the ability to be able to delay your snips up to 10 seconds. So in this case, I would do the same thing. Hopefully this one will work. And now I can do this. And let's see if it will. Okay, now see it dimmed. So I can include that in my snip without having it go away. So now I have my snip, which included my start menu. I now can go in and annotate this with the various pins that you see. And I can, let's get one as you can see. I can go here and highlight stuff, as well as erase if I make an error. I also have a ruler that I can use if I want to be able to make a straight line across in this manner. And then as well, I have a cropping tool that I can also crop whatever I want. Once I get my crop done, I can go here and click the check mark, and now I have cropped just that portion that I really wanted to see. If I made a mistake, I can also do the undo, and it will then take me back to a point where I can start again. So the new snip and sketch is a really neat enhancement to the old snipping tool. Now, for those of you that wonder, well, how do I get the snipping tool? If you don't have it pinned to your taskbar, you'll find it under Windows Accessories. So get there, Windows Accessories, and then go down and you'll find the snipping tool. And of course, you just need to right click, do more, and then in my case, I have mine already pinned, so it shows unpinned, but yours will show pinned to the taskbar. And just click that, and then you'll have it available to you. Again, it's a really handy tool to use. You'll find yourself using it in all kinds of situations. But it's under Start. Notice I just click on A here, and I get this grid, and then I know that it's Windows is the first letter. I click that, and it takes me to Windows Accessories. So using that little shortcut really makes things pretty quick, pretty handy. Now, some people have asked, what do these other icons mean? This icon right here actually will take you to your most recent or most used area, what's at the top. If you have an application that begins with a symbols, then it'll take you to that which is this 3D viewer. It's marked with a symbol. If you have, of course, the others are alphabetical. Now, the letters that are highlighted are the ones that you actually have a app listed under that particular alphabet. The ones that are grayed out, there's nothing that is selecting. The world down here represents global, so that's going to show you everything from top to bottom. So that's our discussion on this snip and sketch. The other thing that we'll be able to do is that I don't know how many people organize their start menus. A lot of people, at least in my club, I find they tend to want to still have the icons posted on their desktops. In my case, I prefer to have the wallpaper I've selected to be in full view without any clutter. So I use my start menu extensively. So all the apps that I want to use for shortcuts, I have them pinned here to my start menu. Now, I have them organized under Create, Play, Productivity. With early versions of Windows, you were able to create folders, such as this right here that I've created for Microsoft Office. So when I click on one of the icons, say for instance I want to go back to Word, I just click on Word, and then it drops down, and then Word is available to me. The little arrow takes it back. Now the thing that's changed is the fact that you now can give the folders a name. So say for instance I want to create a folder that has just entertainment. So what I do is I have these three, this is actually music and movies. So I can just drag the tile on top of another one, and it then creates a folder. And as I drag another one here, I now have my three I have Netflix, I have Spotify, and I have Pandora. But notice here, it now gives me the opportunity to name my folder, which is new in 1809. So to do that, I just click inside the, click on the name, and I can then add a name. I call my folder Music and Movies. Oops, I went to the. So now I have this, as you can see, it's labeled Music and Movies. I have one that's also listed as Games, and those are all under the title of Play. So what that allows you to do is that it now will not only shorten the list, but it also tends to organize everything. Like if I want to move these two games over, I just need to drag them on top of that. Normally it doesn't hop around like this. I'm not sure what's going on, but now it's, so now those games are all in one folder. Now, if I want to take them out of that, it's just simply just click on one and then drag it adjacent to it, and then it will then become out of the folder. I'm just not really doing this quite right. Okay, so I can click on it, it'll come down to the bottom, and then just drag it off the screen, and then it will then become separated from the folder itself. Or you can just drag it back, it doesn't matter. So that's how you'll be able to organize your start menu and be able to name them, name the folders that you create. I think everybody's aware that Microsoft has included antivirus in Windows 10. It's currently named Windows Defender. In 1809, it will become Windows Security. So under your update and security, you will then find a tab that's called Windows Security. And it shows you all the protective areas, just like it did before. The only thing that's changing is actually the name. They probably have found it a lot easier for people to understand what it actually is than with wording of Windows Security than Windows Defender. So here it shows what actions are needed, if any, by saying, by the green check mark says there's no action, and of course it's also listed here. This guy right here has a red X. You notice it says get more information. So what that allows me to do when I click here it will allow me to go in and fix the problem. Now, what that problem happens to be is that I have a my dynamic lock, which is a feature that allows your phone to be paired with your PC so that when you walk away from, or at least the phone is not in range of the PC, it will automatically lock the screen. But in this case, it says the paired device cannot be found and it may be off or out of range, which is true. So I can then go in and repair that by just, in this case, scan for the device, and it'll give me the opportunity to repair it. Once that's done, then I will no longer see the I'll no longer see that red X. And this would be true for any of these that you find a red X. You'll be given the opportunity to take the necessary action to correct the problem. Now, here recently, I've learned that Windows, as we currently know as Windows Defender, will now be running in what's referred to as a sandbox. Now, what that allows, if you know, understand the concept of the sandbox, that means it's an isolated area where you can test things without contaminating your main project. So in this case, what's happening is that since antiviruses are usually your first level, in other words, if there's going to be an attack on your system, it's going to have to contend with the antivirus. Now, the problem being is that it depends on how well the antivirus is able to isolate that particular attack. And since it's already, the antivirus is part of the operating system, it leaves your machine and your applications vulnerable because whatever occurs there could possibly leak into your main system. So what Microsoft has decided to do is that they will now have the Windows Security or Windows Defender to be able to isolate that activity so that your other system won't be affected. I have a slide here that I want to show that explains it better. By default, the sandbox mode is not on. So there is some instructions that you will have to follow in order to turn that on. And you can do that with any version, with the current version of Windows, all the way back to 1703, which is what's known as the Creator's Update. Hopefully no one's running 1703, but if you happen, if you are, you can still do this. So what you want to do is go down to, I'm going to minimize this. You want to go down to your start button and right click on it. And then you want to go up and click on the command prompt and agree to the changes. And then you'll get your command prompt. And in that area, you want to type SETX. And you want to do it without the quotes that you see on my slide. /m space MP underscore FORCE underscore USE underscore SANDBOX. it's fairly easy to remember. If you get past the first set x/m space MP, all it's the rest of it is just force use sandbox, and then 1, and then press enter. Oh, I know I did wrong. Let me do it again. setx/m MP underscore FORCE underscore USE underscore SANBOX. I think. Oh, and I put in. Hopefully I got that right. Keep forgetting to put the well, I apologize. I'm not typing something in correctly. You have to type that exactly as it's stated. And what I did, again, I forgot to put the space between the box and the 1. But you'll get a message that said it's been it's been successfully installed. All right, one more time, and then I'm going to give up. Okay, see, it says success, specified value was saved. So now that means that the Windows Defender is now running in sandbox mode. So when you see the handout or this slide, which you'll be provided with, just make sure you type in the information correctly. You won't do any harm if you make numerous mistakes like I did, and I apologize for that. But what you want to be able to see is success, specified value was saved. And then your Windows Defender will then be running in sandbox mode. And as I said before, what that affords you is the fact that now you have a container that Windows Defender is running in, so that if any attack happens to occur, it is isolated from the operating system. The other thing that you will be seeing is that fonts has been moved. This is both true in 1803 and 1809. And so you go here to personalization, and you'll see a new entry that's called fonts. And so this will then show you all the fonts that you have installed on your machine, plus the type of typefaces that you have. And you can go in and click on the particular one, and it'll show you how to, you can change the font size, do any number of things with it. Say in this case, there's like 15 different font faces, typefaces, I'm sorry. And you can go in and change those sizes of those if you desire. Now, the thing that's interesting now, if you want to add more fonts, you go to the Microsoft Store. So click here, and it'll take you to the store and show you the fonts that are available. Most of them are free, but there's some that you may have to pay for. And you just click on the ones that you want, and it will go ahead and install them. One of the things that I'm asked to do frequently is help friends and family with their computer problems. And rather than have to go and over and talk with them or visit them personally, I can go to a application called Quick Assist, which is built into Windows, and it's under Windows Accessories. And when you click on it, you have a get assistance and a give assistance. So the person you're helping will also have to do the same thing. It has to be a Windows 10 computer, and they would click on get assistance, and you would click on give assistance. And what happens is that you have to sign in with your Microsoft account. And this number, this 6-digit number, is what you tell them. They put that in, and then that allows the two computers to connect. And so you can then see what they're doing on their side. Say, for instance, if they are trying to figure out how to install a piece of software, you can see them go through the motions of doing that and tell them or give them advice on what they need to do in order to complete the installation, or whatever. You'll be able to see their screen. They'll be able to, you'll be able to help them as well. So that's something that's very handy if you have the situation where you have to go out and help individuals. You don't have to. You can do that quite easily from the comfort of your home.
We've run out of a little bit of time now, Bill. So the one question I'd ask is, have you been given a timeline as to when the 1809 is going to start rolling out for everybody?
I have not been given that. The only thing that I know, and I just closed my slide, is the fact that there are still issues with even the version I'm running, and I think I had some problems just this morning as we were talking about it. But I'll share with you the information that I have, and this is this. That, of course, the original one was rolled out in October 2nd, and shortly thereafter it was what they call paused. And so since that time, they've been working on it incrementally, and these are the updates that I have received, with the latest one as of October 30th. But they still say it's not ready for the masses, and there are still issues. Because not only did the issue that occurred with the missing data, there was also some driver issues. Now, if you happen to be one of the people that actually got the update when it was released, you just need to leave it and then make sure you do the cumulative updates as they come along, because they will be patching that product until they get it right. Because it's not necessarily that you're going to have any issues. If you didn't have the issues with the losing data, I don't think that that will happen. It's just with certain PCs that had some hardware issue that caused that anomaly to occur. So, but to answer your question straightforward, no. I would say that I'm just guessing. I would think that probably by the middle of this month or late this month, it might be hitting the streets, but that's speculation.